Hey. All right, as you can see, let me switch screens. I did this last time. We are doing the Chicks and Chocolate class. So you can see the projects there. You can see some chocolates to kind of go along with our theme here. Let me switch the camera around. Hang on just a second. There we go. There I am. Okay. Hello, everyone. I am Christina Taylor, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming to you from North Canton, Ohio, for today's class of Chicks and Chocolate. It is a favorite class that I do. I try to do it every year. I think about it's a yearly occurrence. It's a very popular class. The projects are they're fun, feminine, very girly. They have nice soft touches that, all the girls, we all like them. A lot of embossing and things like that. And then, of course, we have chocolate. Everybody comes to the class, they bring a chocolate treat, and we share. And everybody enjoys sweet treats while they create. And it's just a fun social class that just everybody has a good time at. So I'm happy to share the projects with you today. So if you purchased a kit to go to craft along at home, this class is going to take you through all the projects. And yeah, I hope you enjoy them. So I will flip the camera down and we'll just go ahead and get started. Let's switch this camera back over. Okay. All right. So I've kind of set the my table up just to give you a little presentation about what the class is about, and this is a peek at the projects that we're going to be doing. Let me just grab the chocolate out of the way. I mean, it was for presentation purposes. It's not like I won't eat these, but I will move them out of the way. Okay. And this is a peek at our projects today. Oops, put that there. So I'm going to move these out because we're going to be going through these one by one. And this is a peek at our catalog. I think last time we met, I was not able to show you the inside of the catalog. So now you can see all the beautiful things inside with some of our just a lot of new products and layouts and scrapbooking things and punches and dies and all the things. So yeah, if you haven't gotten a copy of your catalog, let me know. I'd be happy to get you one. I do have catalogs. Anyone that's joined up for a club or the In Color Club, those members always get my catalogs first when I get an order. So if you'd like a copy of this, just message me and let me know. I'm going to put that aside. Couple things here before we get started. So I mentioned to you about my In Color Club. I'm currently doing registrations for the 2026 In Color Club to get a bundle of products, and you'll get all five of the new In Colors over a 5-month period. They'll be grouped into color bundles. I think I talked a little bit about this on the last video. Um, so in the color of the month, the club, you get the magnetic style ink pad, which are these new ink pads here. Let me just show you how easily they open. Look. Ta-da! So easy. So you'll notice that the pads are a little thinner, but a little longer. And we're back to the old felt style of ink pad that we used to have years ago. I actually have still some of these ink pads that I use at class, so they're great quality. Not really sure why Stampin' Up! Ever changed to go to the others, but I'm happy with this new pad design, so I'm anxious to see what you think of it. So you can either put the ink pad side by side and the lid will magnetically hold right there, or you can flip it up underneath. The great thing about these pads too, I mean, there are many things, but they're all magnetic, so they store. They'll just stack and store. So you don't even have to have like a container to store them in. They will just all stack nicely together. So this is 4 of the colors, and we're using the 5th one, Hydrangea Hue. We're going to use that on one of the projects today. So the In Color Club in the bundle for each month, you're going to get one of those ink pads. You'll get a bottle of the re-inker for the ink color. You'll get 12 sheets of that color cardstock, of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. 30 adhesive backed butterflies in that color of the month, 24 adhesive backed dots in the color of the month, and 2 yards of the bordered ribbon, which I can kind of, let me grab a couple of these here. Got some of the products here. So here is a peek at like the ribbon. That's the crisp cantaloupe. Here's some of the dots. And then the butterflies we're using today. So you'll get a peek at those. You get 2 sheets of 12 by 12 two-tone cardstock. So that's where it has a light and a dark side of the color. You'll get 1 sheet of the specialty pearlized paper in the color. So it comes in a 5-pack with a color, 1 sheet for each color. And it's like, think of like Wink Stella in a paper. It's got a nice shimmer. It doesn't have glitter that comes off of it. The paper itself is shimmery. And then you're going to get 4 sheets of 12 by 12 designer series paper in that specific color. So that is what you get within the color bundle. And that price, it's $48. I knew I had it down here. It was $48. So it's a few more than last year. I think last year it was like 43. So it has adjusted just a little bit. But like everything else, prices have gone up. So there's a little increase at $48. And that does include shipping and tax and everything. It's just 48 flat. And then you have the option to add on either the matching set of in color blends for 14 or a matching in color shimmer brush for 12. And if you're not familiar with the shimmer brushes because they are brand new, think of like Wink of Stella with a twist of a beautiful color in there. So that's, you get that shimmer in a color. So in your exclusive perks for being a part of the In Color Club, you'll get 30 bonus white butterfly embellishments. You're going to get complimentary new catalogs. And each month you will get a video tutorial featuring 2 projects that you can use that are using your In Color bundle products. So just a little extra perk for you. So think of a 2-card class every month. So that's like probably like a $10 savings. So you're going to have those free card classes in total of 10 projects by the end of the club. If you have questions on this or have any interest, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to talk with you more about that. And then before we get started stamping, I will share this with you. So this is um, I forgot to silent my phone and I just got a text from my son. Sorry about that if it stopped the feed. So this is our product of the month. Every month since last December, Stampin' Up! Has started product of the month. And when you make a purchase of $75 or more before shipping and tax, um, you can choose the product of the month for $5. So this month, the month of May, it's Berry Botanical Vellum 12 by 12 specialty paper. So this is some beautiful paper with the colors on here. So you've got, let's see if I can kind of show you without, see like, it's got a sheerness to it. You probably, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but you can see my fingers through it. So you get 3 sheets of each of these patterns. So we've got this vellum print, then this one, a little fresh freesia, and then another one with some blossoms on it. So you got 3 sheets of that. And then, oh, this pretty green. This, I think, is our new Peaceful Pine. Yep, it's Peaceful Pine. Isn't that pretty? That would actually be really beautiful on some Christmas cards. We'll save. But so this, especially paper normally retails for $17. You can get it for $5 for the product of the month offer. And also we're using the Eyelet Balloons die, which was the product of the month for April, and that is still available. So we're going to use that on the projects today, and you can get a closer peek at that. And I'm going to show you a fun project to do that increases the versatility with that. So this first project, I'm just going to go ahead and jump on in here. Let me grab some supplies and bring them over here. Okay. The first project we're going to do is this beautiful happy birthday card. So, happiest birthday wishes, have a fabulous day. And we've got some beautiful embossing behind it and this new DSP. It's a specialty DSP because if you did a craft along Kid to Go, you're going to be able to feel it, but there's flocking on the paper. So these little white areas are raising. You've got kind of like a soft, fluffy flocking. So this is going to be our first project. Let me share with you what we are using. So the ink color we're using is Berry Burst. I'm using my bow maker to tie the little knot, that knotted bow that we have. I'm also using the Floral Spray 3D embossing folder. This is a new folder. It's in the Lily of the Valley suite of products, which is absolutely beautiful. This folder is currently, I believe, unavailable unless it's popped back in stock. It was hugely popular, sold out very quickly, but it is coming back. I can see why it's sold out. It's beautiful. I've also grabbed the Gallery Blooms. Now, this set is on the last chance list, so it is still currently available, but it is something that is retiring. And I've grabbed this blossom out of here because I felt like it complemented the little flocking, the flowers on here with like the little, just tiny little white dots, little tiny white flowers. That's the one I gravitated towards. At class, the ladies were able to use whatever flower that they wanted to. So I've got that. And then I'm using the Phrases and Frames stamp set. This is a brand new stamp set, and it actually goes along with a set of dies that we're going to be using on another project. But this is a great all occasion stamp set. You've got anniversary, thinking of you, sympathy, birthday, just sending hugs. Hope your day is filled with love and happiness. Just really great sentiments. So I have actually used I think all but like two of these sentiments that are in the stamp set on our projects today. So we are using this stamp set on multiple projects throughout this class. And then here is the specialty paper, which let me open this up for you to show you now several of the pieces I have cut up. So there is just like little pieces left of them, like these guys here. I have cut, that's literally all I have of those two pieces. And these two here, I've cut them pretty much entirely up. So you've got those two pieces. The flocking is on one side, and then you've got these like basic beige, just textured kind of pieces on the back. So a little, very subtle. And then we've got this one, which this is great to kind of cut at like 5 1/4 and then 4 and get yourself multiple panels for a card. So this would be super cute. Just put maybe a sentiment there and a ribbon. And then you've got some light blue on the back, which I'm thinking that's like cloud cover. And the flocking is like these little flowers right here. And then on this one, the centers of the pink flowers are flocked. I've cut some of this off for a project I was doing. And then you've got a nice little cloud cover textured piece on the back. Same with this one. So all these little white stems are flocked. That's got a lot of texture on it, really pretty, and some cloud cover on the back of that one. See what else we've got. I did those two. Oh, here's the last one. Isn't this beautiful? This reminds me of like some wallpaper like at my grandma's house. It's super pretty. Anyway, all this white on here is all flocking. So there's a ton there. You can really see it in the on the screen there. There's a ton of flocking on this particular piece. So pretty. And then you've just got some soft little stems on the back with the basic beige, and the stems are in a cloud cover. So beautiful paper. It's a specialty paper, so it is a little bit more at 17, but well worth it. Okay, so let me, on the card, the only thing that I have on with dimensionals is the sentiment. Other than that, everything is flush to the card. So I'll just leave this, I'll try to put it in the screen so you can kind of see it there. And then let me share with you the supplies that we have for our project. So we are using a piece of berry burst that's cut 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25. I've got a piece of basic white that is 4 by 5.25. I've got another piece of basic white that's 3.5 by 5. I've got two pieces of designer series paper. And when I was cutting these, I needed to be mindful of the direction because this one is going upright, this one is going horizontal. So I didn't obviously want to cut it like this and put it on my card. The blossoms would not be cut appropriately. So if you're doing a card like this, just be mindful if your paper has direction to it and the way you want to cut it. So you've got two pieces of designer series paper, and they are both 1.75 by 3.5, both of them. Then you've got two pieces of berry burst, and they are both 2 inches by 3.75. And then you just have a strip of cardstock that's white and it's 3/4 of an inch by like say 5. It could be a little shorter or a little longer. Whatever you have is going to be long enough to put your greeting on the front of the card. And then we have our envelope. All right, so we're going to start by folding our card base in half. And I don't seem to have my bone folder here. Let me grab one. It was over at my other desk. So I've got that. I'm going to go ahead and flatten this. And I'm going to move this card out of the way. We will just put it over here for right now so it's out of the stamping space. Okay, so what I did was I took my white cardstock and then the folder. So this is one of our large folders, really big, nice size. And at class, the ladies could put both of their pieces for the front of their card on each side of this, so 1 and 2. So they could do both of them at the same time. And when you do that, my card side there. When you do that, you end up with a piece that looks like this. So look at that detail on there with those little lily of the valley and the other flowers. Oh my goodness, it is so pretty, the detail that is on this card. Love that. Okay, we need to do a little stamping. So we're going to set that aside. That is already embossed. We'll open up our berry burst pad. Let me grab our foam mat because we're stamping with photopolymer. Okay, and I also need this one for my sentiment. All right, so we're going to ink that happiest birthday wishes. And do that right there. Okay. And I'm just going to clean this off with my chamois. Get that ink off of there. And I'm going to go ahead and do Have a Fabulous Day on the inside layer because everyone should have a fabulous day on their birthday. And then I'm going to ink this up and stamp those little stems right in the bottom. That is so beautiful. I really love that. And I will stamp that on the front of the envelope there. So that goes nicely with our card. Okay, we've got all of our stamping done. Get that aside. I'll go ahead and shut that ink pad so that I do not set something on it. So we're going to go ahead and start to assemble our card. Oh, I think I folded my card a little wonky there. Let me correct that. Folded it just a little off. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and put our layered embossed piece on there. So you just have to kind of figure out how you want to put it on your card. So if you put it this way, the blossoms are going to be upside down. So I tell you what, actually, let's go ahead and layer these because then you can kind of play with how you want to put this embossed piece on there. So let's do that first. It is so warm today. Oh my goodness. But I'm not complaining because it is nice. I'd rather have it be warm than so cold. I went for a bike ride yesterday. Oh my goodness, it was so wonderful. So nice. Okay. All right. So I'm going to kind of just look at this and see like, okay, if I layer that like that. I actually like it like this. Even though technically those blossoms are coming upside down, I like it because I'm getting more texture right under there. So I'm gonna go with this way on my front. So you can decide which way you want to do it. And put that on the front. We'll go ahead and put this inside layer on. Inside. Okay. And then that piece right there. Again, make sure your flowers are going the right way directionally, how you want them to go. Press that down. And then for our sentiment piece, let me grab that. So what I did was just take and cut in the center. Let me see if the camera was a little blurry there. So I'm going to make a slit right in the center, and then I'm going to come in on each side and angle cut that to create my banner. Now, if you have a little banner punch, go ahead and use that. But this is just a way you can create it yourself. There we go. Okay. And then I want to put some dimensionals on the back of that. Oh, that packet's done. All right, well, we're going to go with mini dimensionals because that's what I have at my space. Let me see where that sentiment is at. Okay. Okay, so I put dimensionals through where the greeting is stamped, okay? Now for me, the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to do it, you can cut it off or you can just wrap it around like I'm going to. So what I'm going to do is take off all my little dimensional tabs, all those little paper bits. And let me think about how I want to do this because I don't want to cover that flower. I think I'm going to bump up my sentiment up towards the top because I want that, I want to be able to see that yellow flower. So you can differentiate, you can put it wherever you want. I'm going to, on this one, I'm going to put it towards the top. Just get a little peek of the pink ribbon coming there. Okay. And then I'm going to take this tail and just fold it back around. Okay. So let me put a little adhesive there. Oops, sorry, the camera shot there. So I'm just going to secure it back around like that. Now you can cut it off and have that end be open, however you choose to do that. And then we'll add some more adhesive and see. Trying to decide on my placement for this one too. I'm going to go with right here. Okay. And where's my lid? Okay, and then I went ahead and tied some little bows. I went ahead and pre-tied those with my bow maker. On my channel, there's a video for just search bow maker and you can see how this works. I just already happen to have these pre-done because I was doing them for the kit. So it is already done. And let me grab a glue dot. I'll use I use a couple of these. I always use my paper pumpkin glue dots when I'm stamping over here in this workspace. Let's see. Put it on like that. Right. Oops, let me get that out of the way. All right, so here is our first project. So you can see how I slightly just kind of changed the where I put my sentiment, and you can do the same thing. Put these scissors in the shot. The camera seems just a little bit blurry, so I'm hoping that that camera will focus a little bit more. All right, so that's our first one, and hang on just a second. I'm going to go ahead and get the supplies for the next one. Okay, so this next project, we are going to be die cutting with the Eyelet Bloom die, and we're also going to be embossing with the Eyelet Bloom die. So cool. So I hope you are going to enjoy the creativity on this project. So this is a beautiful anniversary card. We've used those little in color butterflies. There's two sizes. I think on this one I've got the little tiny one, but we'll use a larger one. Here's a peek at the embellishments here that I'm talking about. So I've got the smaller size on this one, but we'll go ahead and use a larger one on the one I'm going to create here. Okay, so that's the card we're creating. We're going to use Hydrangea Hue, one of my favorite new in colors with these super cool pads. So you're going to get to see those in use. Again, we're using the in color butterflies, which are part of the in color club. They're super cute embellishments, fairly low profile, so they're easy to mail, don't have to add extra postage. We're coming back in with this Phrases and Frames stamp set. I've chosen the happy anniversary out of here. And then the anniversaries are for celebrating the joys of today, the memories of yesterday, and the hopes of tomorrow. So really nice anniversary sentiments. I'm going to use that. I'm using the Stylish Stitch Shapes, and out of here I've grabbed I think the third largest banner. So we're using that one. And then the stamp set that I'm using in addition to the frames and phrases is Nature Symphony. And I've grabbed this stem out of there for doing some decorating on the inside of our card and our envelope because I felt like it was very complimentary, of course, to the die set, which is part of the Nature Symphony dies. So they work hand in hand together. You've got some great textural elements and then just some other, these two punch or die cut the stamped images in the stamp set. And then these are two just decorative elements. So we're going to use this larger die cut leaf that gives you texture to the leaves. And then the Eyelet Blooms die, which is our product of the month for April. So these big dies like this, when Stampin' Up! Does a whole full card size die, they usually retail for $30 and you can get it for $5 as the product of the month for April. So if you never redeemed it in April, you can still get it in May as long as it's available and you're going to love it. And then we are also using our gray specialty plate, which is what we used on the last project with our embossing folder. And then we are using, so this is our old version of the impressions plate. So let me go to the catalog here. Right here. Okay, I want to show you. So this is new for Stampin' Up. We had this years ago, and I just happened to have my silicone impression mats in my stash of stuff because I still use them. But Stampin' Up now has an impressions plate, and it's this black one right here. And you can get that. It's $11. It's a brand new item that will accomplish the same task that I'm going to do with my other items that I've had. Oh my gosh, I probably had these for like 15, 18 years. And so it's a silicone mat where mine, I need both of these to accomplish it. So you'll see as we go through, because I'm going to attempt to do that on the camera, just so you can see the magic happen. Okay, so let's put this. So let me see. On this project, I do have this layer here lifted up with some dimensionals, and I do have the sentiment lifted up with dimensionals. Everything else is flush to the card flat. So I'm just going to set this aside so it's out of the way, and I can go ahead and start creating with you. All right. So our supplies, we've of course got our envelope, We've got a piece of basic white, and this is just our regular weight basic white, not thick basic white this time. With the amount of layers that was on this, I felt like it was totally fine just to use the basic white regular strength or regular weight, I guess, not regular strength. So anyway, it's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25. Then you've got another piece of basic white that's 4 by 5.25. And we've got a piece which I have already die cut for you, a piece of basic white that's 2.5 by 4 1/8. So a little different, 4 1/8. And then I've got a piece of hydrangea hue that is 2 5/8 by 4 1/4. Okay. And I have already gone ahead and die cut out our leaf piece, and this is out of the hydrangea hue, and you can see that beautiful texture on that die cut. So that is going to be a really nice element to our card. And then we've got our stitched label, our banner as well, already die cut. So before we start creating, let me attempt to show you on camera how to emboss. And hopefully it's not going to jiggle the camera too much and you'll actually be able to see the whole process here. Okay. I don't even know if this is going to work because of my camera. So let me put all these things out of the way and we will figure this out together. I mean, I know how to do it. I'm saying to be able to show you on camera. Let's see if I put it like right here, maybe you'll be able to. Okay, so we've got our Stampin' Cotton Emboss machine. There's my plates. I was like, what should I do with my plates? You're gonna need plate number 1. So your numbers are right in the top corner. So I need plate number 1. I need plate number 2. So I'm gonna put plate number 1 down, plate number 2. And then the specialty plate, this gray one, is plate number 4. So you're going to need that one, okay? But before that, what should I do with my white card stuff? There you are. Okay. So I'm going to put plate number 1, then plate number 2. Then I'm going to put my die on there and hopefully you can see. There we go. Okay, I'm going to put my die on there and I'm putting it cutting side up. I know this is a little blurry. It's probably because it's so close. Then I'm going to put my cardstock. And you're like, Christina, that is going to cut that cardstock. Just bear with me. Hang on. Okay, so then you want to make sure you have that lined up where you want. Then I'm going to put my gray silicone mat, which is my impressions plate because I don't have the new one, but this will work. So if you have this, you can use this combination. And then I'm going to take my little blue one, which is much thinner. It's kind of like, think of it like as a shim, but a silicone shim. And then I'm going to take my plate 4 and put that on there. And I know you're thinking, Christina, that is going to cut your silicone mat and your cardstock. Okay, now I'm going to wind it through, and this is backwards for me because I'm left-handed. So let me crank this through. Okay, let me move this out of the way. Okay, so we're taking our plate 4 off, the blue, the gray. Let me get my little take your pick tool because I need to like shimmer that on. Okay, and look at that, it embossed it. I mean, how beautiful is that? You can do this with any of your dies that you have texture like this that you normally would cut through. So this increases the versatility of the product. You've got this textured embossed piece and you've got a die cut piece all done from the same die. So super, super cool. Let me just put that aside. Okay, so we're going to come back in. Now we've got those pieces. And there we go. All right, so we're going to fold the cardstock in half. See if this time I can do it a little more evenly. Right. And we're going to take our detailed die cut piece and put some adhesive on it and go ahead and fasten that to our hydrangea hue piece. So even though there's a lot of details to this, there's a lot of space that you can put adhesive and not so much have to worry about it. Now, I will tell you that there are some little pieces, like some little circles that I can see in here. Like if I flip it over, there might be a few white pieces in there. I'm okay with that. But if that bugs you, you go ahead and just pop those little pieces out that didn't quite come out with the die brush. But for me, I'm totally fine with leaving them there. Okay, and this just has a nice thin layer behind it. So it's meant to just pop that color. You can see the color coming through the die cut as well. Okay. We want to stamp our sentiment. So let's see, we've got these two pieces done. Let's come back in with our ink pad. And we're going to stamp happy anniversary. And so these are our foam, they're not foam anymore, they're the felt pads. So you can press a little firmer and you kind of do want to tap around. And let me grab my foam mat just because it is polymer and we want to make sure to get a good impression. And I'm going to stamp that. Okay, clean that off. And then I've got the inside of my card and I'm going to stamp it this way. So let me go ahead and do the sentiment. Now this is a big stamp, so I'm just going to kind of take it and go back and forth and put that towards the top with all of our well wishes there for a happy anniversary. And then I've got this nice little stem piece that I want to add on the inside too. And I'm going to stamp it and stamp off. So you get two little shades, two different shades of the hydrangea hue. And then I'll go ahead and do that on the envelope as well. Okay. And I think I'll just put one in the back too. All right. All right, we've got all of our pieces stamped. So we'll come in and start to assemble. And for this one, I'm just going to put adhesive all over the back of it, just like it was a solid piece of cardstock because it's just embossed. And put that down. So you get that nice white tone on tone, but you get that nice texture. So that really makes it pop. And then I want to put some dimensionals on this. Let me get my regular dimensionals because the minis are kind of little to be putting on a larger layer. So let me grab some of these. Okay. So we've got 5 of those on there to kind of give it good, what's the word I'm looking for? Good structure underneath so we don't get a saggy card. And I'm just going to set this to the side a little bit towards my left side and come back in with my stem. And I want to snip this in 2 pieces. Okay, so I want 2 little pieces that I'm going to tuck behind my sentiment. Get some more dimensionals. Oh, these little guys don't want to come off. All right. So I'm going to put my happy anniversary. I'm going to kind of center it between this panel, that there. Then I'm going to flip over my die cut stems. And even though these have texture to them, there's not holes in them per se that the adhesive is going to like seep out. So you can tuck or you can put your liquid adhesive kind of on each stem. You don't need a lot because it's not like a really heavy duty piece. Okay, so I'm going to put that bigger one on first. Let me grab this little guy. Think about where I want to put it. Go right Okay. And you're just tucking that little stem behind the labels, so you're not really seeing that they're cut in two, but that gives you like some layering there, makes it a little fuller. You can put it in there one full piece if you want, but I find cutting it just gives a little more variety to the front of the card. And then let's come in with these embellishments. And we're going to grab one of those butterflies and just put that right there. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. These are they're such a little classy like embellishment. They're so pretty. Okay. All right, and there is our second card. What do you think of that one? Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel too. If you're got this with your link, you can always go to my channel. You can find me on YouTube. It's Christina Taylor, Stamp Me Crazy. And click the bell for notifications so you'll get notified when I upload a new video. And if you want to like and comment on this video, let me know what your favorite project was. I would love to hear your feedback. Absolutely. So let me get the rest of the supplies for the next project, and we'll go ahead and get started on that one. Okay, this is our next project that we're going to do. Have you guys taken a break, gotten a drink, maybe a little piece of chocolate while we're creating here? Okay, so this next project features the new All a Flutter stamp set and punch, as well as the Lazy Daisy embossing folder. And we're using the sentiment out of the All a Flutter stamp set as well, thinking of you today, with some fun little butterflies flying off in there. So I'll share with you what we're using on this project. As far as layering, everything is flush to the card except for the butterflies. I did put them on with a dimensional. So that's the only like elevation dimensionalizing on this card. So I will set this aside right here. So we're using a lot of punches. We are using the 1 1/4 punch, which we have in our new punch design. I just have had this one for years and it still works just fine. So I'm just going to stick with using that. So we've got the 1 1/4 punch. Then I've got the 1 1/2 inch circle punch. So those will layer nicely. That'll get us our colored layered circles there. We're also using the All a Flutter butterfly punch. It punches out all three of these butterflies at the same time. So we've got that. And I'm using Summer Splash ink. Now, when I designed this project for the class, Summer Splash ink was still available. It has since gone on the last chance list, and I think there are a few products left in the Summer Sun, but I don't know whether the ink pad is left. But you could use Coastal Cabana, you could use Pool Party, any type of fresh blue that you want to use. I think you could alter this card as far as the color palette. The embossing folder that I'm using is Lazy Daisy, the 3D embossing folder. This is just brand new. And then, of course, the stamp set that I'm using is the All a Flutter stamp set. So you've got these 3 stamps of triple butterflies on one stamp, the little mini butterflies with the little tail kind of like they're flying. And then you've got these nice little sentiments on there too to complement the stamp set. These are new. I don't think this is in catalog. I think it's an online exclusive that came out. So if you search on my store, you'll find it there. And then I've got some basic pearl embellishments. Some of the ladies in their kit use the iridescent rhinestones. Either one will work. You just need a little shimmer for your project. So these supplies, what we have are we've got a white envelope. Then we've got our Summer Sun cardstock, which is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. And then I've got 2 pieces of basic white that are 3 3/4 by 5. So you've got 2 of those. And then I've got 1 piece of basic white that is 2 3/4 by 4 3/4. And this is the piece we're going to stamp our butterfly on. At class, they stamped two, so then they could punch them out. So I'll show you like right here. This is the guide I had for them at class so that they stamp them this way, keeping this butterfly level so that the punch would reach in and punch them out easily. So we'll be doing that same thing. I have gone ahead and punched out three summer splash circles, so 1.5 inch, and then three white 1.25 inch pieces. All right, so we're going to start by folding our card base in half, flatten that with our bone folder, set our envelope aside. The first thing we want to do is stamp our sentiment. So the reason we're doing that is if you notice on the card, half of it is embossed. So it's giving texture to this half. We want to get that sentiment on there and establish its position on the card before we emboss. Because if we emboss too far, then we're not going to be able to stamp our sentiment on a clear, smooth surface. All right, so I'm going to take that thinking of you today and inking that and stamping that in the lower right-hand corner. Okay. And then I will take this along with my embossing folder. Oh, I may as well talk about all this while we're doing the embossing folder. So I'm going to take and put this in my embossing folder just up until, and I'm just going to level it out with this line down here. So that way I know that it is straight on my card front. And I just want to emboss that portion of my card so this stays clear and it creates almost like a faux layer. But when I'm also doing that, I'm going to take these three circles and I'm going to put them inside the embossing folder. So let me come back here. We're going to put those in the embossing folder and run that through. So it's going to texturize the circles, texturize half of this. So let me do that. And with the magic of TV, there we go. We've got that embossed and we've got our three circles embossed. So we're all set. Okay. Now we're going to come in and stamp our butterflies. And I need my foam mat back for that. Okay, we're going to start with our butterflies with a detail image. So I'm going to ink those up. I'm going to keep this butterfly. I want to keep it like parallel with the line of the cardstock. That way I know my punch is going to line up. So keeping this one straight, these two are at an angle, totally fine. So I stamp that full strength. And then what I'm going to do is ink up the solid image. I'm going to stamp that off once because I want it to be a lighter version of the summer splash. And then I'm going to stamp it right over top of the detail butterflies so that I get a nice fill in of color. Okay. Then I'm going to use my punch and take that down and line that right up in there. There we go. And punch those three out. Just that easy. So I've got my three little butterflies for my card. And then let's come back in with this inside layer because I want to do some stamping there. So I'm going to do some little butterflies here. And let's see, how do I want to do these little guys? I'll take them like that. And then do the little tail on there like they're flying. On there, so cute. And then let's see, where's my envelope? We'll just do that on the envelope too. So, okay, and do one on the front. Perfect. Okay, I don't think I cleaned that one stamp off, so I want to get these cleaned off so they are out of the way. And that is all my stamping. So I'm going to shut my ink pad. And we are ready to layer and assemble this card. So we'll come back in with our adhesive. I hope all of you got out and enjoyed the weather that we've been having. I know we're in for a little bit of rain and oh my gosh, I almost put that on the wrong side. Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? Let me just go ahead and do what I was going to do, and then I'll just show you if you ever do that, how you can correct it. So I was putting that on the inside, and that is not my inside layer, not where I want it to be. I'm just simply going to flip my card the other way, and we're going to fix that. How many of you have done that too? It's easy to do. So we're going to take and put this piece on our inside, which is our inside layer. Flatten that down. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring in my 3 circles and put some adhesive right in the center of each one of them, because then I can just easily put my daisies on there, those little embossed pieces. When I was doing this, I originally just did it, with a punch out circle. And I thought, yeah, that would look so cool, I think, to put the texture on there. It would really bring this card together. So I'm super glad that I decided to kind of change it up a little bit and do it that way. I'm really happy with the outcome. I hope you like it too. I'm going to go ahead and set that in place. And there. And so we've got all 3. I kind of like the spacing, so I'm going to go ahead and push those down. And then I want to come back with dimensionals on these 3 butterflies. And I think yeah, I was like, okay, I don't know if I can fit a full-size dimensional on there. You have to just be mindful of how you're placing it, I suppose. Okay. All right, so let's see. We'll put this one up. So we're just going to put them in different positions as though they're like kind of flying around, because butterflies don't all stay in the same space. Oh my gosh, I just love that. It's so cute. And then we're going to come back with some pearls. And let me get my take your pick tool. And we'll add pearls to each one of those butterflies. There we go. And there. Put this adhesive on. Okay, so that is our 3rd card. So we've got double vision there. What do you think of that one? All right, let me put this aside and we'll come back with our last one here. So I'm going to bring in our inks, the card, sets our supplies. Okay, so we've got this stamp set. And we are coming back in. So this is the phrases and frames, which is what we've used on our sentiments throughout all these projects. So this, I've used this stamp set for majority of the sentiments, except for that butterfly one that we just did. But it is bundled together. This is the phrases and frames dies. So these are actually bundled together in the catalog. And these dies are super cool. In fact, on this card, we've used this die, and this die. So we've used a variety of them on here. And you can use these dies. They do an indentation and impression on it when you die cut it, but you can also use your impressions mat to make that impression deeper. So that's a cool thing. You just take that same technique, put what you've die cut, which let me just grab it. So like I've die cut this out and you can see the texture on there. Let me see, I've got too close. So you can see the texture on that die cut. But if I put it in here and do the impressions mat, it'll just make it a deeper impression. So just know that that is an option with these dies. Okay. Then I'm also using some polished dots we used on at class that you made a pink version, a petal pink version, and a pool party version. So on the pool party, we used the clear dots. On the petal pink, we used the pink dots. So we've got those. That worked out perfectly. And then we're using either pool party ink or pretty or petal pink. Oh my goodness. And the example that I'm showing you is in Pool Party. I'm going to make one in Petal Pink so you can see them both. Okay, so this is the card. I've used some designer series paper on there and we're making an easel card. So this little guy is like, it opens up like this and you've got a fold. So we've got this flap, fold, and then when you put this die cut piece on top of that designer series paper, it acts as an easel. So you can open this up, you can write your message in there, and then someone who you're sending it to can put it on their mantle or their counter, or whatever, and they can just, it'll set up and make them, give them a smile. So all right, so let me explain to you how we are doing this project. Everything here is kind of flush to the card. You do want to be mindful of how we're fastening it down, so hang there with me as we go through it. We are going to put this frame up on dimensionals right here. Everything else is flush to the card. Okay. So the supplies that we are using, we've got Very Vanilla, that's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. We've got our white envelope. We've got a piece of vanilla that is 4 1/4 by 5.5. Okay. Then you've got a piece of designer series paper, and this happens to be 3 1/4 by 4 5/8. Okay. And then you've got another strip that is 1 inch by 5.5. So you'll have that if you're doing a craft along kit to go, you're going to have a pool party version, you're going to have a petal pink version. Then I've gone ahead and die cut all the pieces out for you. So as I showed you before with it, we've got this detailed frame. We're going to be using that and you die cut that on a 1/4 piece of cardstock. So basically as big as this piece, you just die cut it out. And then when you're die cutting, when you're using this die right here, you actually get the etched, and let's see if you can see the detail on this. Can you see those lines? It kind of is embossed there for you. So you get that piece, and then this is a byproduct of coming out with of this frame, and we just use that to stamp our sentiment on. And then we use the smallest die to get this little scalloped oval. All right. Okay, so the first part of this is the fold. So let's talk about that. So you're going to take and fold your cardstock in half at that score line. And let me just make sure that is level where I want it. Okay, and use the bone folder to flatten it. Okay, then you're going to take the top fold and you're going to take and fold that in towards the center. So you're folding that. Fold that down, use the bone folder to flatten it, and this is helping to create your easel. So see, it's gonna create your easel. So that is key. That's an important piece there. Set that aside. I mean, actually, all the pieces of the card are important, but you get what I'm saying. All right, so we're gonna do petal pink and thinking of you. Okay. And then we're going to do the sending you hugs, because who would not like, I mean, you could just send somebody just hugs just because you love them so much. And you just happen to be thinking about them one day. So, or you can send this to somebody that needs some extra support and love. And yeah, so just a thinking of you card can work for many, many occasions. All right, so we are ready to assemble this card. So let's break it down in the different pieces and how we're going to do this. So the first part is we're going to take our frame And we're just going to put adhesive on this inner edge, which let me bring my foam mat in here so I can kind of lay it down. And okay, so I'm just going on that inner edge, not the entire frame because I don't want glue on it all just yet. I just want to create some place to be able to put my designer series paper. So I want this print on the front of my card, so I'm going to put that down. And there we go. When I turn that over. So that's creating my frame. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to glue this to this entire piece of Very Vanilla. So this is where I'm going to put more glue on the frame because I'm going to actually glue that all down. If you would put the glue on everything when you did the designer series paper, you'd have glue all over your fingers. So you just want to keep it to where you're getting that designer series paper in place. And then you're just going to center that on that piece of cardstock, just like that. Okay. All right. And then we're going to build our front pieces, our layers there. So we'll put some adhesive on that oval and get that in the center. Okay. And then for this, I want to use some dimensionals. So we're going to come back in with those minis. Well, I didn't mean to put two there, but it's okay. They're just coming out in, oh, I just got a whole bunch of them there, little guys. We'll go ahead and put two on that one too. Okay. So I'm going to take those little pieces off the backings. Okay. And then I'm going to take that and then just set it right over my sentiment. Okay. Now I'm going to come back in with my card base. And I want to put this piece of designer series paper at the bottom. I'm putting some adhesive on it and I'm just going to put it at the base of the inside of the card. Okay. Then I'm going to come back with this little scalloped oval that we stamped, and I'm just going to put one big dimensional on the center of that and bring that back in. So you see on this one, it's just like kind of right in the center. It's going to create like a little hold mark for you. So I'm just going to put it about there. Okay. So I'm starting to create my easel. So now what I want to do is I need this piece to go on here to create my easel. Okay. But I don't want to glue it all the way down here. So this is the easiest way I've found. If you put glue on this, chances are you're going to glue the entire thing and you don't want glue on the whole thing. You just want it on the lower half. This is the easiest way that I have found to do it. So I'm just going to take my adhesive and put it on this lower edge, adhesive only on this side. Okay. That's that. Then you're going to close that card and you're just going to take, because this is cut the size of the card. So you're going to take that, shut it, and put this piece right over top and line it up. Okay. And press. And voila, you have created your easel because it just glued on the lower half. So you did it. All right, so let's add some gems here to finish this off. This is a super easy way to create a fun card, and it's not an overwhelming fun fold. So let's put this little pink gems there, which I think look great with this card. And then, oh, I didn't do anything on the envelope. I didn't really think about that. I'll have to add something a little later. I didn't really even give that some thought. So you've got this one in the pink. Okay. This one in the pool party. Right. So let me come back in with all of, let me see. I don't know if I can get them all in the frame here. Let me take this off. Okay. Let's see if we can get these all in here. There we go. I'll put all the envelopes up here. You can see the little variations. There we go. Okay, there we go. So there's our projects today. We got through them. We are like so creative and they're just so fun and feminine touches with all the embossing and all those just little extra details and touches for this class. So I hope that you have enjoyed these projects today. If you've seen something that has inspired you and you want to order it because you want it part of your creative items that you use at home, you can go to my online store at stampingyoucrazy.stampinup.net, and you can sign in to your own rewards account. You can order whatever you might like. And if you like those products of the month, whether it's the specialty vellum that I showed you or this Eyelet's Blooms die, if you get to that $75 mark, you can grab either one of those for 70 or for $5. And you also earn 10% back in rewards. So it's a win-win. You're getting a great product of the month perk, and you're also earning some rewards to use on a future project or future product order. So, oh my goodness, words are hard today. I think it's all the sunshine, and I'm just kind of like a little bit scattered. So, but thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you loved the projects, and I look forward to hearing your feedback of what you liked most. All right, take care. Until next time, happy stamping.